live, and we should be all good. Alright. Hello everyone, and we are back playing Factorio. So let's click resume, and last we left off I was in the Spidertron, and we were in the process of doing science stuff. So we had just about finished off, at least for now, this whole rocket production situation. And we've got some of those. And so now we just need to make science again. So let's see here. I believe we have military science, logistics science, and automation science. And I think we just set up chemical science, right? That's what that is, yes. Right over there to the left. So now we just have production science and utility science. So we need processing units, flying robot frames, and low density structures. This is the one we're working on now. We're going to go back to production science in a little bit, because it has more things that we need to automate for it. So, you know, work on this first. And the only thing we don't have pre-automated is flying robot frames, which we've made batteries. That was this. And we have electrical engine units here. So, with those two done, we should be able to just set up our flying robot frames. Now this is going to be a little bit more difficult than our usual because it has 4 inputs, whereas our train squares here are only really designed to handle 3 inputs and 1 output. We could do 4 inputs if we didn't want to have an output, but I think we do want to have an output. Actually, I'm not sure. I don't know. Let's just set it up and figure out the details later, because we are going to have to do some of this first, so we might as well get that out of the way. There we go. That's being built. And now we get all sorts of stuff constructed. We are apparently still being attacked over this way. That's this artillery nest that is getting hit. And it's not taking that much damage on the walls, but the drones are getting wiped out, which is a bit of a shame. Hopefully our artillery shell range increases will help prevent that sort of stuff from happening as much, because the nests won't be able to be as close. Alright, did I mess this up? I messed this up. This is misaligned. Wonderful. So we have to restart this. Fortunately, we didn't end up constructing most of it. So this has to be lined up like this. And popped in there. So now it's lined up properly. We can get it all built up. And let's see, the Spidertron can run around and get this stuff accelerated. So there we go. We're waiting on one of those. I thought we had those automated. Let's see, if we head down to here, I did have those automated. And they should be functioning. I mean, we have 10 of them. Okay, I guess it just took a while. Probably what happened is this drone port wasn't set up properly. It hadn't been built yet or something, so it was just trying to take it from my personal inventory and not being successful. Alright, so we're just going to wait here a bit. Okay, we've lost a laser turret. What has happened there? That laser turret loss was on this corner down here. We do have an artillery turret there. We might want to do the thing we've done in the past and push it further. So have a forward's artillery post so that stuff that's getting attacked isn't important. But for now, I think we're just not going to worry about that just yet. We are going to get this finished up. So we need to get train unloader V2 in to, I think, all of these. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's our 4 inputs, and what we can do is, I've done this like once before where I've had an extra train station on the other side that I can use as the output, which should work just fine. We were missing arithmetic combinators, so let's queue up a whole bunch of those. And let's see here. There you go. And there you go. So now everything is theoretically hooked up. We just need to get some of this stuff connected into the power grid. And now we need to give these their names. So this is... Oh, we need to make the electric engine input. Electric engine input. Then we go up here and we have battery input. So this is battery. We need it to be battery input though. Okay, then this is steel plates. And we need to preferably get all these before the copper shows up. And this is electronic circuits. Oh, we do not have that much time. Alright. Unfortunately, a copper train has showed up. Alright, you move on. You are not wanted here. We're going to have to get rid of all this copper, which means putting it in a... We have like active provider chests, right? We can do this. Yeah, okay. So let's make that an active provider chest that gets bulk inserted into, and then we get the same thing from this other one. So that should get rid of all that copper. And this is supposed to be green circuits, not electronic engines. Green circuit input. Alright, so that is all good. Now everything's set up, and that hopefully won't take too long to drain. They didn't get that much copper in before I sent it along. So now we have the electric engine train to set up. So you go to electric engine input until empty cargo. And you can be set to automatic, and you should be good to go. Now we also need to finish off all of this train connection there, and think... Oh, wait, no, we're on the far right side, so we don't have to add that in. Alright, so this is all set up, and we need to get the batteries in. So the batteries need a train still, because I had just produced them down here. So there you go. There's a train. There's all the cars. You get battery input, battery output. Input until empty, output until full or 120 seconds. Give you the test interrupt and call you group battery. Then we set you to automatic and we're all good. So that should get those delivered on over. And I'm surprised it left immediately, but I guess it was... I'm surprised it left immediately when this one didn't. For some reason, this one's 120 seconds only just started now. I didn't mess that up, did I? No, that is ore. Yep. Alright, should be good. Alright, now that's coming along. And we should get those. And then green circuits. There is a train on the way up here. Alright. Yep, that all looks fine. We've got those. And then there's this one up here, which is the steel. Alright. I do need to add an additional train for the circuits. Oh. Nope, I don't want to do it now, though, because we're going to cause an accident. So the steel is going to need an additional train so that we have enough trains to do everything here. So you get assigned to steel group and automatic. Off you go. And then we need a train set to green circuits and automatic. There we go. Green circuits, automatic. Have fun with that. Okay, now the copper is mostly gone, so we don't need this anymore. Oh, can you not manually pick stuff up off of the belts from the Spidertron? Did not know that. Alright. Anyways, that should be good now. And we're just going to let them deal with that and pop that out. So we have our 4 inputs. Now we just need to figure out how to get those 4 inputs through some assembly machines. So I think I have an idea for how to do it. So we have our 4 input belts going vertically like that. Then we have our output belt there, which is going to have to go, you know, over across that. So this then crosses like that and then loops up this way. So now we can tile this and it should be good. Call you flying robot frames and we get 2 short inputs, 2 long inputs, and an output. And we can get all that powered up. And it should all work with just that one power line. So now let's see if this tiles properly. Should be just fine. Alright, how fast is this? Pretty fast. That should be plenty for this. So now we just have to get all of the inputs in. So let's see, the hard one is going to be the north one, because it's obviously coming from the wrong direction. So let's, I guess, wrap that one around as well. You're going to be coming down this way. And then in like that. Then this can come over to this one. And finally this just goes in the right one. And down we go. Over and up. Alright, that's everything. And the last thing we need is productivity modules. Like so. Alright, so now this is going. And it's going very slowly, obviously. 0.3 a second each. But it'll get there eventually. And we have one produced. This is very slow. Is this gonna be fast enough? Let's see, this total thing is 0.06, 0.09, 0.12, 0.15, 0.18. Is 0.18 fast enough for me? No, I don't think so. Let's copy this whole thing and see how many more we can squeeze in like this. Okay, we do have to be mindful of getting the output somewhere, so like that will be good. We can just squeeze, I guess, just an additional 3 onto our pile. And then I really want to use these beacons, but it seems like their range is just barely not good enough. Although maybe we can do this. So let's check actually. Why did this not get productivity modules? All the rest of them did. There. Problem solved. Alright, so this is 0.3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. So it's 0.27 a second total. Okay, let's actually just check. Oh, 2 laser turrets got destroyed. This is a full-on breach. Alright, that's a concern. Like, we straight up lost the entire corner, which is an issue. And it's because of those guys there. What if I, like, do this? Because they theoretically shouldn't want to shoot at them since they can maneuver around. But it'll prevent them from standing in that spot and shooting, which, I don't know, might be something. Laser turrets are back in. And unfortunately, there's no easy way of getting an attack to see what happens. Actually, I can shoot at that and see how they react. Although the wrong artillery gun is shooting, so it might not have the desired effect. But that was a bit too close anyways. Alright, we'll see. It's entirely possible that they will just go and destroy all of those walls and it'll be a huge failure, but it's worth a shot at least. Alright, anyways, back to over here. These 3 machines make a total of 0.09 per second. So if I replace the center one with one of those guys and give it speed modules, which... oh, wait, that's no good. Can't do that, apparently. Give you speed modules. Alright, yes, that did work. Alright, we need to now get those random speed modules off the belt. So now, with that in, these two are making way more per second. Now, can I just alternate those? So if we put you in and give you speed modules, now that one's making it 0.22 per second, which I think is worth it. So this is definitely going faster, and I'm pretty sure it still has the productivity bonuses. So yeah, let's go with that as our design for this. So if we just copy paste this and paste it like that, and we're gonna need to craft another couple of beacons for this, which apparently take a while. This should dramatically increase the speed of this without messing with its efficiency. Okay. But I have to do the part where I dismantle these first. Oh, but not those ones, because that's actually an output. So you get dismantled. And you get those. And you get those. Alright. Now those modules are somewhere in the underground belts, which is not ideal. So we are going to run this over that way. And now we can hop out, grab the modules which got in unintentionally, and... alright, problem solved. Now, we just need to do this part. Alright, so we have to go out like this. No, we have to start this further back. I remember that now. This has to start like back here or something in order to work properly. Alright. It doesn't have to be perfect, I guess, because it's just a one-of-a-kind thing. There can be this extra gap there. Alright, we have to rotate this to be facing the correct way. And we messed up. And now we have to rotate it all the way around again. So we do something like that. And like that. Alright, so does our train station fit into that area? Alright, I don't have any of these in my personal inventory, so let's craft one. Alright, where does this have to... No, this doesn't work. So it needs to be longer, basically. So we can't have it going that far out, because then it spends more of the space going out and less of the space being effective. So we have to have it like that, and then have this like that. And now this is the same length as the normal one, and we should fit in just fine. Where's that train stop? Here it is. Alright, so that fits. Pop that in. And call this... What are these things called? Flying robot frames. Flying robot frame output. Alright, so that is that, and now we just have to set up a speed loader over here. So that all gets in, and we're gonna have to connect it across like that so that it's powered on. And then we're going to have to get all of this established. And then we just have to get the belts into it. So you go into there. You go into there. And actually, we want this to go up, not down. So you go into there, and then you go back this way, and then all the way over there. Alright, that should work properly. We don't need those to exist. So we're just waiting on drones to go and do all that bit. And then this doesn't have a refueler set up because it's out of drone range, so it's going to need a drone port somewhere out there, which gets powered on, and hopefully that's far enough. And also, hopefully, someone comes along with all these belts at some point. That would be nice. There they are. So that they are all going in. And that roboport is in. The belts are making their way. We're almost at the point where this is going to be producing properly. Alright, there we go. So now the flying robot frames are being sent around and can now get loaded up onto a train there. Hey, Fairy Lucas, hello. I am doing good. We are making significant progress towards re-automating all of the sciences. So now we have our flying robot frames, which means we can just make utility science packs. And then once we do that, we just have production science packs, and then we have all of those. Alright. You know, a whole lot of people say their headphones are broken, and it's because they're ChatGPT and they can only interpret written text. So I'm just gonna ban you. So there you go. And is this working properly? Yes, it is. Nothing weird going on anymore. Should be all set. This is even getting delivered its solid fuel, which at one point recently we had a solid fuel shortage. We seem to no longer have a solid fuel shortage. That seems to have been resolved pretty quickly once I got this production line working again, so that's good. And we finally figured out how to use the beacons, which is pretty cool. So let's just head over here into this space and get Train Square V2. Now, unfortunately, we are going to be once again overwriting some defenses here and hoping that the biters don't cause problems. So that goes in there. And we are going to need to make some fixes over on this side. So that gets connected up. That gets sent across. And oh, we didn't overwrite those particular laser turrets. No. Control Z. Stop it. Don't do that. Alright, please just send it up like a normal person. No, not that. Stop it. Just... Alright, let's just dismantle the laser turrets first. Now it should be quite simple. No, because there's also a power line there. What a mess. There. Finally, problem solved. Alright, so how is this going aside from that whole thing? We have spider port drones plus our own personal drones getting all of this built. There we go, it's all getting popped in. And we have these waves of drones coming from further south. Alright, now it's just at the point where there's a couple random spots that need to be done. Alright, so let's get Train Unloader V2 in to there, and in to there, and in to there. And do I need more mathematical things? Apparently I do. Or I think it's actually just that I need to stand close enough for my own personal inventory to get used on it. There we go. Alright, so now we have to set these. So you are flying robot frame, not skying, flying. Input. There we go. Then we come down here, and what were the other parts in this? It was processing units and low density structures. Oh, I think we might have a problem. Oh, those are blue circuits. And these are low density structures. Alright, click that. So what was all that about, huh? That was this whole thing getting wiped out again, apparently. And it seems like those walls we placed out there did nothing. Alright. Well, let's start by just manually removing some of the pressure off of this. So if we just spam click U, just send a whole massive wave of artillery out there. And now there will be one fewer nest. Let's get rid of you as well. So this is probably going to require our artillery to reload at some point. Because we are just using a very large amount of shells there. But it's taking shots from all over the planet. Manual artillery fire range is kind of enormous, and automatic artillery fire range is not that enormous. Alright, so that, I guess, is at the point where it's going to need reloads, so we can just leave that for now. And then, alright, the processing units showed up, like, instantly, although in kind of depressing sized train. The flying robot frames and low density structures we still need to set up trains for. So you go there, and you are train group flying robot frame. And so that you get both of those. Input until empty, output until full or 120 seconds have passed. And give you the interrupt. And so you can go off and do that. Then we need a train for the low density structures, which I believe doesn't exist currently. So there you go. And low density, spelling is hard, structures. So you get, scroll down to there, low density output, and I missed it. Low density structures. Is that this one? Okay, yeah, so you need to be changed to low density input. And then what are they doing here? So you have both of those. You have the test interrupt. Input until empty, output until full, or 120 seconds have passed. And off you go to automatic mode. Now, I just remembered there is something else that I need to do over here, which is very important, which is you need some signals like that and like that, so that you know how to not take up this entire block when you're sitting there waiting. Okay, also some of those got through somehow. I thought I picked them all up, but I must have missed one. So all of these have their 2 speed modules, right? Yes. Alright, cool. So that's all done. And now you got some... These speed modules, man. How do they just keep sneaking in? It's not like any of these have their outputs, right? These are all just inputs which aren't being used. Alright. Well, we got that figured out. Oh, we are taking hits down here again. Although we only actually lost something up here, which should be getting drone repairs at any moment now. But our defenses are not currently doing great. Oh, we just lost a bunch of drones and lasers. Yeah, things are not going well on the defensive front. We really need this artillery shell range to get much, much higher. Alright, let's head over here. Low density input. You are waiting here. You are mostly full, so that should be a lot. The flying robot frames are there, and those are there. So we can just use this blueprint here and slam a couple of these guys down. So you are utility science. And we just drag that recipe all the way across. Alright. So what else does this need? It needs modules, probably. And it needs to not be attacked by biters. That's also important. Alright, let's set up a new northern wall, I guess. So a nice straight line of walls. And then some of those, and let's just make this all line up nicely so that it's exactly 3 power lines across. And then we get 2 of these per power line. So now we can just copy paste this all the way across, and we should hook this up to the power line as soon as possible. So now this whole thing is set up. We should be just able to drag this along. And now that covers us out to the water on that side. And now we just have to head over to this side and stretch the defenses across. I don't have enough lasers in my personal inventory to go much further than that. Hopefully that will be enough. And if they don't go there, they should be funneled, especially like by these cliffs. They're gonna have to come through here, and hopefully these laser turrets will have range on them and they'll attack it. So hopefully that's fine. And also hopefully our laser turret production is still going. We have apparently 50 some in logistic storage at the moment. So hopefully that'll be good enough. In the meantime, we can go back to doing this. So that goes into there. This one comes down and around and up into that. And then this one comes down and around and over, and now we're out of belts. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait for a restock, which should happen pretty quickly, hopefully. The Spidertron does this weird twitching thing when it's standing on a belt. I guess I can just go into drone mode and send you in like that. Alright, personal logistics is... we're very, very far behind on a lot of things up here. So I guess we're just going to have to stand in place for a little bit and let the drones catch up. Alright, here they come. And they're delivering all sorts of things. So we're just going to stand here and let that happen. Hopefully it will be fine. Our science production is almost started. Just have these like 3-ish belts. I think 4 belts, now that I'm looking at it more carefully. And then science production will start. So that will be fun. Alright, literally 1 belt. Alright, there we go. Science production is starting, and apparently these bottom 2 got set up wrong. Yeah, okay, I see. This blueprint apparently is not functional. Because a lot of these have that problem where they have power lines instead of inserters in various places. So you get a power line, you get an inserter there. You need an inserter there. Let's see, you need an inserter there. Okay, I wonder if we need to get the Spidertron belt immunity equipment, because I am getting pushed around quite a bit here. Let's see here. Belt immunity equipment. Let's craft that up. It's small, right? It's 1 by 1. The Spidertron barely has enough room for that, but it does have enough room for that. Alright, so we open that up, pop that in, and belt immunity equipment. And now we can stand just like that with no issues. Cool. Alright, for some reason the productivity modules up here have tapered out. So let's pop those in. And now it's all going to be efficient enough. And we can set this up. So you are going to be yellow science output. And we get the train loader system, which goes into there. And boom, boom. This needs 1 more. And boom. Alright. And let's give that access to that. So now we have yellow science access in the drone system. Now let's head down to the old base, because I believe yellow science was the primary limiting factor, right? Yeah, looks like it. We've got all the other types of science just sitting around. Alright, so yellow science production is over here, and it goes onto this belt. So if we just pop in a... I hit M. You have to not close the map when you're trying to do this. So if we just put in a requester chest there, and then load that onto this belt, and you are going to request utility science, and I don't know, I guess 200 is fine. So that should result in all of our utility science from the old factory getting pumped into from the new factory getting pumped down into the old factory. And yeah, we have 160 some on the way right now, so that should accelerate all that. Alright, and if that's happening, I think, actually, I don't want the old factory to be making utility science, because it's expensive, and siphoning all sorts of stuff into the old factory where I don't want it. So we're just going to disconnect that and rely solely on the new factory for utility science. And it's going to be a bit of a trip for the drones, so it won't be the absolute fastest thing in the world, but it'll probably be faster than these guys. Because it's such a long trip, I might want to set that up to 400. So that should be all set. And the drones are showing up and taking all of that away. Meanwhile, this is producing at 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, 90, 99, more than one a second. A significant chunk more than one a second, more like 1.5 a second, which I am fine with. I could accelerate this even more, but I think I want to figure out, I'm going to have some producing, and then we'll figure out how fast it needs to be once we have all of them in, so we can figure out like where the bottlenecks are, how much speed we want, that sort of thing. Alright, so now if we go back down to the science area, we should have... Yep, we have yellow science appearing here and getting dumped out onto the belt. And this whole thing is being fed yellow science by a single slow inserter. That doesn't seem optimal. Let's make you be a fast inserter. And for that measure, you can be a fast inserter as well. And this gets 2 slow inserters, which is probably enough. So yeah, we can see the science production just... See that graph, it jumps like crazy with our new yellow science input. We might even... Yeah, I think we're going to need more research spots for this. At least it looks like it. I mean, all of these are just waiting on loading them in. So that's a good sign until this very limited purple science gives up. So that's going to be our next step. Next step, we go over here and we're going to need to move that forward turret pillbox type thing up a bit further. So you can come out to pretty far out, I think, would be a good place for it. So you go out here. Yes, I know I'm incapable of making a tank. You get dismantled. Alright, now we go artillery outpost. And this should be able to hold, at least from the lasers. Okay, if we aren't missing a power line somewhere. We're missing that one, literally just like the first one. Alright, lasers are now active. And we're missing slow inserters, because apparently we need those. Let's head back up, and you get to be a fast inserter. And then this requester chest, obviously we need to get drone coverage back so that the artillery part of the artillery outpost can actually happen. So this is going to go out to there. This comes all the way back and gets powered in there. Alright, so now we should be able to run up to here and see that it has successfully requested some shells. Yes, and the range here. Automatic range is 224, manual range is 560. Now I have no idea how far that is, but it should clear out like most of this area, I would think. It might get out to there. And that's my hope anyways. And in the meantime, it should at least just provide a distraction for all of those guys. So now we can run back down to here, and continue working. So, we have all of the sciences except for production science, which needs rail, electric furnaces, and productivity modules. So rails are stone, steel plates, and iron stick. And the electric furnaces are in here. Steel plants, advanced circuit, stone bricks. So we have all of these automated in the factory. We have all of these except for the iron sticks, but we can just craft those on site without a problem. And then Tier 1 productivity modules are just the two types of circuits. So if we bring in plates, gear... No, that's not the right one. Steel plates, advanced circuits, stone bricks. Okay, yeah, no, we are going to need to... We're going to need to do some stuff out of the way. So having rail automation is just useful to have anyways. And we have all of its inputs pretty much, so let's just get it set up. So you line up just like that, and then we paste you in. Then we go over here, dismantle that, and connect you across. Then we connect you across. Then we connect you across once we get rid of that power pole. I don't know, somehow it feels like every time I log on to this game, this blueprint gets worse. Like, I don't understand how, but that problem there was never an issue before using the same blueprint, and now it is. Alright. So that is under attack now, and it is firing. It is getting fully repaired. So that's fine. It's just going to be doing that for a little bit. Then we have this wall over here, which is just constantly under attack. We have an artillery gun there, right? We do. Alright. Let's get rid of this. There's no reason to allow this to continue existing. Away you go. And this is probably going to take a very long time to successfully clear out. And I may have clicked a couple extra times in some places, but that'll be a large nest gone, which should hopefully at least somewhat alleviate the pressure on that. There's also these guys down here, which we need to worry about. Alright, so that is that nest basically gone. Just a matter of the last couple shots going in, and there we are. Okay, these guys seem to be doing something nefarious down here. Let's just snipe them real quick. Alright, I guess the gun is out of ammo, or no, it's just turning. Okay, yeah, there is a bit of a nest down there, which was apparently just being sneaky about it. There you go, that's gone. And we can wipe down that one, and while we're at it, may as well take out this one. And now we're getting retaliation for those artillery strikes, so that's gonna be fine. As long as they don't get through anything or destroy any power lines which are too important. There's just that one, which is just a bug in that. Alright, so that attack was no big deal. Alright, back to this. We were going to be setting up rail, which I don't already have, right? I don't have it anywhere up here. Yeah, I think I might technically have it, like, somewhere in this. No, I don't. I was automating rail down here still. Yeah, so this is a good thing to be automating. And it is stone, steel plates, and iron plates. Alright, we're going to need to get rid of that turret because it's very much in the way. There we go. Oh, wait. No, it's actually important that there be a drone port over here. So you have to go back in there and get powered up. Alright, problem solved. We also have this thing down here, but that's probably fine. So, we have train unloader V2, which I placed it wrong. I have to hold down all the buttons. So you go in there, and you are going to be stone input. And that needs to be connected up to power. And then we're going to need a train on this line. So you get a train, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. You get assigned to the stone group and automatic mode, and then that will eventually get its solid fuel, and it's not going to work. There, have some solid fuel. Alright, so that is that. Next up we have this one, which goes there. And is going to be steel plates. So that's the steel input. And it's going to get a train. Train, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. This train gets assigned to the steel group and set to automatic. And I have to scooch a little bit closer so that I can fuel you up. And off you go. Okay, some walls were being hit down south. Not a concern. Okay, then finally we have this one over here, which needs to get the train unloader blueprint. Gosh, having this blueprint is so convenient. So then this is going to be iron plate input number 14, apparently. I'm glad we don't use too many of these or anything. Alright, so that is all set up. The belts are coming along. And now we can just go up here, set this as rail output. Let me spell. There we go. And train limit of 1. Alright, now we get our 4-assembler blueprint. And place it in. And I think we have to hold down all the buttons in order for this to work properly. Although I don't think we need that many, because I think rail is one of the ones which gets produced very, very quickly. Yes. 5 a second per constructor. That's pretty good. I assume this can't be productivity moduled. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. We just have to set this up the normal way. There we go. There we go. And there we go. So this comes along into there. This one goes up into here. Wait, no, that's wrong. That's the output, not the input. Rosalind, hello. I'm doing pretty good. We are making science automation, and we are pretty close to done with it. So we just have to do a little bit more on the purple science side of things, and then we will be doing pretty good. Yeah, so once we get this last little bit of purple science, we will be basically ready to be able to crank out researches really quickly, and then that'll be great. Alright, so that all goes in. And we have, apparently, the stone delivered 1 box worth for some reason. The plates and steel beams are doing normal stuff. Oh, right, I'm dumb. We need to process these plates first a little bit. So instead of just going directly across, we need just a row of that. And these are going to be making iron sticks. And they are nice and quick. So this shouldn't be an issue. Just pop all of those in. And put the power lines in. Then we take this belt down. We make sure that that is disconnected. How do we get rid of those? Pop that in. And then all of these just output to there. Like so. And then we just have an active provider chest with a bulk inserter here, which is filtered to whitelist iron plates to get all that stuff out of the way. So we should get all the iron plates out of the system and then be able to just send our iron sticks forwards. And those are 5 a second each. These need 2.5 a second each, so this should be more than enough. And just in order to... We should do this. There we go. Now this is probably not going to be enough. But that's realistically probably... This is an insane amount of overkill, and we're just never going to have to worry about using that many. of all these things, so we can just ignore that. So now we get the train loader in up there, and this goes up. Then all of that gets connected in, and the belts go across. And let's upgrade planar all of those so that they can go faster, because there's going to be a lot of them. And then we might as well make those passive provider chests, because rails are indeed a thing that I use, so I may as well have access to them out of this. Alright, so the iron sticks are probably going to be a bit of a bottleneck. Although, actually, I wonder if I can do the beacon trick again. So if I just like put these on the outside, they'll only get the first one and the last one. And also, I mean, the sticks do seem to be keeping up, almost at least. I have a bit of a buffer, but we might have actually... Okay, so this one is missing that, as is that one. So now they all have their inputs. We're going to be cranking out rails like crazy, and probably using all the stone on the planet. Why did this only get a delivery of, like, one thing? So, okay, so this stone output is set up badly, basically, is the answer. Cool. And then the other one here is heading to stone output. It has the test interrupt. Oh, is it heading to a different one? No, it's heading to this one. You need to get a train limit. Otherwise, bad things are gonna happen. Okay, well, the stone here seems to be mostly keeping up. So I guess that's fine. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So this is delivering another 1,000 or so. And we should be good. I mean, this is very clearly a full belt of output. And I think it's probably just like a couple of these make that full. So this is fine. We don't need to worry about our rail production anymore. Assuming the iron plates show up and the steel plates show up, which it looks like they are, there shouldn't be any issues there. Alright, so we've got those. Rails, check. Electric furnaces and productivity modules are next. So electric furnaces are steel plates, advanced circuits, and stone bricks. So that's just 3 inputs and 1 output, so that's going to be another square. And productivity module tier 1s, we have production of technically down here, which kind of sucks actually. Okay, what if we... So that's red and green circuits. This is red circuits. So if we just add green circuits onto this, we can make furnaces and productivity modules. And then, if we also add on the rail input, then we can just do the final production. So we're going to be making like a weird 6 input, 1 output thing. That doesn't seem great to me, but it'll be fine. Now let's just do the electric furnace production separately, I guess. And then we can make the productivity modules on site. So that pops in there. All of this is going to get built. And then we can make our electric furnaces. So let's just stand here to get the Spidertron doing most of the work. That'll make it go a little bit quicker. And all of that is getting built. Almost there. Alright, it's close enough at this point. So, we need our train unloader V2s. So that gets built in and is steel plates, advanced circuits, or stone bricks. So this will be steel plate input number 20 billion. Then this gets a line there to be red circuits. Red circuit input. And then this over here is stone brick input. Stone bricks input. Like that. Oh, wait, I need to set up the train unloader first. And then call this stone bricks input. There we go. Alright, now we put the trains in. So we get that in. Okay, what's going on there? That is another massive attack on this guy. You seem like you need support. Like you're getting hit crazy hard just constantly. And I don't really know what best to do about that. We've got these guys coming up. We'll see what they do. Let's just watch this for a bit, see what happens. It isn't even fully repaired. It is not even fully repaired from the previous attack, and it's already getting hit hard by a new one. We did manage to deal with it there. But we need to wipe out wherever these guys are even coming from, which I don't even know where among all of these. Yeah, the thing is we're getting hit by crazy big attacks from like this corner that are like wiping out half of these defenses, which is quite scary and I don't like it, but I don't even know like what base they're coming from. Is this even a base up here? It doesn't look like a regular base. Let's just fire a couple shots up there. No, those are pretty much all just worms, although there is a base up here. So let's get rid of you. Alright. So that's a little bit cleared out, but I can't imagine that that was the one that was causing that attack. Alright, we're just going to hopefully, we're just going to hope that bigger artillery shell range, which we are about to have, will solve that problem. And what have you done? Oh, I see. Okay, that's an easy fix. We just have to finish building this train that I was in the middle of. So you are assigned to the steel group, and off you go. Now the actual steel train here can show up and supply steel into this factory. There we go. Next up, we have this thing over here. Wait, we already set this up. And it's red circuits. I think we still need to give it a train, though. So you get a train that gets added to the red circuit group and sent off. Then we go over here and we need a train for the stone brick group. There we go. I'm pretty sure I made a proper group for this. I did. There's one train in it. Now there's two. Off you go. And that is that. So we should be getting those things over here in the not too distant future. And that can let us automate our electric furnaces. So in the meantime, let's get it set up. So we have this blueprint, which I need to fix, actually. Can I go here, right click to open, and okay, there's no way to like just edit it directly in this, so we're just gonna have to place that down. You get that, and then we're gonna save you as 4 assemblers. Blueprint created, and now we go here. You get deleted. You get made into a proper blueprint, and that's that problem solved. Yeah, I figured. Just wanted to check if I was missing something, and I wasn't. Alright, so electric furnaces. Set that up all the way across. And now we just have to put the ingredients in. So that's steel. This will eventually be something. I can't even remember what it is. Oh, I think this is the red circuits. Why did it do that? Please be normal. Go up like that. Alright, then we have our stone bricks, which just have to make their way over as well. And up there. Alright, so that's all set up. Then we have to just call this electric furnace output. Electric furnace output. Give it a train limit of 1. Wait for that guy to move on, and then we can put in a loader. And then this goes forwards and in. I really should make that splitter square just a part of the blueprint. This whole area for one production line. Yep. That's pretty much how most of these places look. The trick is when those one production lines get very, very large production lines and take up the entire thing. But for the most part, it is one square for one production line, and occasionally I'll sneak in like a very simple step ahead of time. But yeah, it's not space efficient. It's hilariously space inefficient, in fact. But it is convenient. Oh. Speaking of convenient. Oh. I just nuked myself. I hit the wrong button. Whoops. I thought I was just going to be spamming explosive rockets, but instead I ended up firing off like 5 nukes. Yeah, that's inconvenient, and I think I probably blew up my Spidertron too. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. I do not want to have a blown up Spidertron. And like half of the base is now destroyed as well. Alright, so we're just going to run up there, grab our stuff. This is why you don't carry nukes. Yeah, I should probably not be carrying nukes, at least not actively loaded into the Spidertron. But hey, at least we got rid of the biters. That's the important part, right? The biters didn't destroy my factory, I destroyed my factory. Alright, lesson learned. Do not have nukes loaded and ready to fire at random. Alright, wait for the train to go past. Make our way up there. Wait for that train to go past. And gosh, manual travel without any equipment is so slow. Expensive mispress when hitting nuclear power plant. Goodbye. Oh, that's a nightmare. I am so sorry for that person on Reddit. That seems like a load to save moment, honestly. Like, that is just terrible. Okay. We are almost there, and we'll see. I assume the nuke didn't destroy my inventory. It certainly did destroy the Spidertron, though. Alright. And, oh, of course. Of course there are now a trillion biters in the area as well. Okay. Sure. That's a bit of an issue. Hopefully they don't just like keep doing that to me. Hopefully next time I show up there aren't biters everywhere in the area and I can just pick up my stuff and then be able to move fast enough to at least run away from them. Almost got hit by a train. That would have been an embarrassing third consecutive death. First I nuke myself, then I get killed by biters, and then I get hit by a train. That would have been horrible. Alright, up we go. Alright. Moving on up. Now we have to make the entire walk again. Is there a way to like set your spawn point or something, or is it always going to be at that one spot? Because it would be really convenient to have my spawn point just somewhere up here in the factory, as opposed to down on like basically the southeast corner of it. Right. Almost there. I say almost there, we're like halfway there. This walk is terrible. Without any movement upgrades at all, except for like occasionally a path that I built. Alright, we're getting there. We are getting there. Alright, let's get through that forest. Just leave a spare Spidertron near spawn? Yeah, maybe. Alright. I do not see any biters in the area at the moment. We should be clear. Grab our stuff. Oh, we have to put the equipment on first. And then grab the rest of that stuff. Alright. We are all repaired except for the Spidertron. And then there's also this corpse, which I guess I will pick up the pistol and 10 firearm magazines. Alright, here we are. Alright. I assume it's not going to be simple as just clicking craft on another Spidertron. No, we have to grab a whole bunch of junk for that. Alright, let's just set up a production line for Spidertrons, I guess. Just a very rudimentary one. And also, in the meantime, is this working? We still need our red circuits to show up. So I guess we could just wait on that. Alright, how fast can we set this up? We need raw fish. We can just fill some raw fish into a box. That's fine. The next thing is blue circuits. So we get a requester chest to get blue circuits, and it's going to want to have a lot of them because this whole thing uses a lot. So then we need low density structures. So let's get you low density structures, and again we need quite a few because there's also a couple of things we need to craft first. Then we need efficiency module 3s. So let's get those in. And I don't think we need that many of those. Alright, then we need rocket launchers. So rocket launchers are iron plates, iron gear wheels, and electronic circuits. So we're going to have to set up a production line for those. We can actually just use this, I guess. So we need plates, gear wheels, electronic circuits, and iron plates. A couple of those. Iron gear wheels. A couple of those. And green circuits. Couple of those. I don't need 200 of those, but whatever. So then this can make me my rocket launchers. So that is that step done. Portable fission reactor is next, which needs processing units, low density structures, and uranium fuel cells. So we take the processing units, and I think we just extend that along for them so that we can use them in multiple spots. So that now we can grab belts off of that. Portable fission reactor. Then we have this, which we're going to do the same thing for. And then we need uranium fuel cells, which is the only time we're going to be needing that. So you get set up to make uranium fuel cells. And you can just grab some from wherever they are. And now you're going to have those. So portable fission reactors should be automated. Next up, exoskeletons. We need steel plates, processing units again, and electronic engine units. So let's add on engine units, and actually we need to grab off of this belt somehow to move the processing units forwards. And then we pop that in, and we need steel plates and electronic engine units as well. So let's get some more requester chests, which can just go directly into that. So you are, where are you? Steel plates. This is gonna be the most scuffed thing I ever build, probably. You are electrical engine units. Through the power of spamming drones everywhere, we will get this done. And then you are exoskeletons. Alright, so we have exoskeletons, and then finally we need radars, which I can just import. So, now we have our final production thing, which I guess we're going to put over here for space, which is the Spidertron. And I guess we can start powering these things up just to get them running faster. Alright, so we get a belt off of this. That power line is in the way. Can I take it out? Yes, I can. Alright, so then that is going to go up to there. And then feed those in. Undo that. There we go. I meant to dismantle the belt right next to it so I could put a loader in. Alright, now we take these out and send them in to there. That's exoskeletons. Then we take these out. That belt is going backwards. That goes up there. Portable fission reactor, done. Next, we need radar. Oh, we finished artillery range. Cool. Can we just, like, have you keep doing that? Alright, what was I doing? Right, next up was radar. So we get a requester chest going in there, and it is going to ask for radars. Alright, so that is that. Let's get a power pole in that corner. Alright, so exoskeletons, check. Radars, check. Fission reactors, check. Rocket launchers, check. Now we just need the efficiency modules, which I put over there. And I should have put over here. Okay, what is this? Now we're losing all sorts of stuff. What's going on? They are hitting that. They're also hitting there. How have they decided to make like 20 successful attacks all simultaneously? Where are the... And they're going up here as well. Well, that's a bit of a catastrophe. Hopefully it'll all get dealt with. We do have hopefully enough spare lasers to repair all of this. This attack is the most concerning one. And it's still going, although as it goes, it's pulling in more laser turrets. So we're almost through all of those biters. And now there's only one active laser turret even firing that way, though. Alright, we need to get rid of that, probably. Alright, well that was unfortunate. I think we're fine, though. Anyways, what was I doing? Right, we need to get some of this stuff over there. So you go up there, and then in there. So that's those set up. Let's put another power line by that corner. Okay, then we need to get the processing units, low-density structures, and raw fish over. So the processing units, we can yoink off of that belt again and bring over this way and in. The low-density structures, we can do the same thing. So we grab you. And you need to go up there, cross that belt, cross over those belts, and then go over to there and in. Alright, now the only thing we need is the fish, which we can pop in like that, and let's just feed that manually. And I guess we can request fish. Where are you? So we can request those, although it's probably not going to be delivering any. Okay, they're still... They've done a follow-up attack. This is kind of a calamity. Hopefully... I mean, it's very far away, so it's not like we're going to lose everything, but we are going to lose this area temporarily. Alright. One more power line. So now this is being fed with everything except the legs. Alright, we need to get a Spidertron with some exoskeletons to spare so that we can go down there and actually do something about this. But I guess I'm just going to have to walk. Are they still chewing away down here? I mean, at this point it's like completely undefended until we get some of these laser turrets back in. So hopefully we get those laser turrets back in. And then we're going to need to just spam a couple more in. Alright, so at least this... So this is exactly why I was putting those outposts with extra defenses around. So that if we get attacked, it's not like immediately threatening our mining operations like this is. But it looks like we might be stabilizing, assuming that we are getting more of this stuff built. Okay, it looks like they even attacked up here. So we're going to need a couple of laser turrets up there as well. And does this have... This does have a forward artillery turret. Okay, now they're over here destroying our oil. Of course they are. So these laser defenses are apparently just not sufficient anymore. I think that's what we're learning here. Is that we need more than laser defenses. What we need is the better artillery shell range to be able to snipe all of the nests automatically. But that doesn't seem to be what we're getting. Alright, I'm just going to manually fill you with some of those to hopefully get this running faster. Because we really want to get that Spidertron set up. This is still going. And this side is getting attacked as well. Oh, geez. Alright, I guess this is gonna have to be a biter destruction day. So we're gonna have to spend more time on dealing with those guys than I would have liked. This is back and secure again. So we have that. These biters are just camping these couple of rails, which are out of range of our turrets. Are currently out of range of our turrets. Once these get rebuilt, then we'll be fine. Assuming that they do get rebuilt. And we're going to put a couple more in, just to be sure. Okay, and we are provoking more with artillery, which is probably important to do, although it's a bit risky. Alright, so the laser turrets are in. Now those biters have been dealt with. Oh, just in time for another major attack, which most of these laser turrets haven't been built for. Great. And it's so far away that there's realistically very little that I can do aside from just pop these laser turrets in. So we were able to deal with that attack strangely effectively, honestly. Oh, there's another one. Okay, they're just relentless now. Got it. Okay, so this is going to need... This is going to need a distraction outpost, I think. Which... Let's see if I can set that up remotely. This is going to be a bit risky. And because it's not going to be online for a while, and there are actively biters in the area. See, are my lasers actually... Do I even have spare laser turrets at this point, or are we just producing them as fast as they get made? Oh, I had personal logistics turned off from when I respawned. Alright, we do have a couple hundred. We do have a couple hundred laser turrets in logistics storage, so that's the good news. The bad news is that they once more seem to be getting in all sorts of places they shouldn't be. Like, this corner's been wiped out again. Alright, is there anything we can do that would be convenient to stop them? I've never used landmines, but I think those are consumable, so it's probably not a good choice. We could do... Let's see, what's the range on these? Turrets are range up to 30. Lasers are 24. Guns are 18. So I want to just be able to shoot them, like, far away. So laser turrets and flamethrower turrets are the longest lasting. Laser turrets are just more practical though, and gun turrets are too short and annoying anyways. Alright, so we need... Let's see, we're in the middle of making this distraction area over here. The biters have fortunately walked past it. Alright, artillery outpost. You can go out there, and hopefully it gets built up quickly. Hopefully the drones are somewhat coordinated about that and build it approximately all in one go, so that we have enough density of lasers to get it going. And also hopefully they don't try to do it at this exact moment. This exact moment would be a bad time to do that. Alright, it looks like one drone is going in with a wall. This is very scary. I am not a big fan of my defenses getting constantly knocked over. I need better defensive techniques. Like, this very simple setup that I have here is not going to be good enough. Alright, biters, please move past us this one time. We're only building walls at the moment. But once laser turrets go down here, this should draw the attacks away from the oil. Alright, we have most of the walls going up first, which is pretty good. Like, that is a good order of putting them in if it's going to be trickling like this. I don't know if that's just because the laser turrets are not available. Although they all are the color that indicates They're getting built, aside from the artillery piece. So let's get some of that extra stuff in. So we need artillery pieces, and what else is it? We need an oil rig that was destroyed. So let's craft up a couple more of those. Slap down a passive provider chest. Give you some artillery and some pump jacks. So now that should get taken down. And where even was that we were doing it? It was this down here. Alright, the drone port is in. The power lines are mostly in, but not all of them. Alright, now the power lines are all in. So once these lasers come down, it should be able to fully defend itself. We're just piecing together a little bit extra of the walls there. And because these outposts have much more concentrated defenses, they're going to be a lot more secure because they'll be able to wipe out the enemies faster. And they also don't have these rails and stuff outside of them to cause problems. Alright, laser turrets are going in. We've only got 4 at the moment, but more are coming. Alright, so those biters have been coming up like directly past this every time. So there should be no way that they continue to hit up here. They should get distracted by this. Alright. It's almost in. Yeah, so now we're just waiting on the artillery turret and the ammunition for it, which we should be good with. Now let's... This is all so far down that it's probably... We probably need a buffer chest to deal with that. So let's get a buffer chest here with some just defensive stuff. So we need... Let's see, what do we want? We want a stack, at least a stack or two of laser turrets, which we are apparently completely out of, or either that or this is not in range. So we want the laser turrets, we want some repair packs, we want some walls probably, and we want... What else? What else is there down here that could be useful for the automated defensives? Power lines? Because these... If those get destroyed, it could knock out an entire section of things. Okay, now that someone just has to build that buffer chest in order to start filling it. So that should be that. And then I want to see the biter attacks come past this outpost, because it should be online and ready to defend them now. But of course now is when the near constant attacks just suddenly stop altogether. Which is fine, obviously, because we can rebuild all of these defenses. And since they clearly aren't enough, let's add in a couple more on that wall that got destroyed. Okay, now over here we need to output from the Spidertron, I guess, into a passive provider chest. Although, did I accidentally overwrite that Spidertron? I think I might have overwritten that Spidertron. That was on the ground there. Whoops. Alright, what do you need? You need low-density structures and portable fission reactors, which need blue circuits. So those are going in. The low-density structures are going in gradually, at least. We almost have a Spidertron, and then it's just going to be a question of getting legs as well. There's all sorts of stuff that we need to put in the Spidertron in order for it to actually be useful. Okay, make sure this only goes like... Are these stack size 1? Yes. So we're going to have like... Let's have like 3 Spidertrons. Alright, we're being attacked again. Where is it? It's this corner again. We'll be able to deal with it this time. And the fact that these artillery cannons are perpetually out of ammo makes me think that we might be firing, and that's what's triggering all these crazy attacks. Yes, so that's why they're attacking like this. Because our artillery range upgraded, and now we can shoot out at these guys. Yeah, so that is a much longer shot than we would otherwise have done. And we're cleverly not destroying any of these nests. We're just chipping away at them so that they can continue to work for as long as possible, I guess. That seems like a bad idea, but then what do I know? But if these guns can keep it up like this for a little while, and this did take an attack. So this took an attack, which means that we should no longer be at risk up here. So that's cool. And it'll also have range to clear out more biter nests, like these ones down here probably. There we go. And that looked like it went fine, I guess. And we are down a laser turret, and this buffer chest is just getting set up. But we do have the buffer chest now, so hopefully that should mean faster repairs. Although, despite there being 8 laser turrets in that buffer chest, none of these guys are using them. And we're about to get a massive attack with our 3 most important laser turrets out of commission. Yikes. Yikes indeed. So they've chewed up all of those rails again, which I guess is good in the sense that it's like a minor distraction from attacking more important stuff. So like if they're destroying rails while our lasers shoot at them, I guess that's okay. Alright. So that was defended against, and now we have on-site repair stuff to replace all of these nice and fast. Yeah, so our buffer chest there is going to work, and that was a pretty convincing repair job. And we have 34 spare of those. Let's actually add in some... Let's add in some artillery shells. Just like 10 of those, so that can also be run more quickly. Because ultimately, the faster we artillery shell these guys, the faster we don't have to deal with them. I'm kind of surprised that they're attacking at all. Like, our pollution cloud is not very large down here. But I guess they are just angry about something. Alright, let's close that off. How is this going? We are still slowly chipping away at the fission reactors. Okay, we are an artillery gun short. Did they get this artillery gun down? They did. Alright, that's not ideal. We need that artillery gun to be, you know, present and firing at all times. So let's see if we can... It's just too close to the front is the problem. Like, they're shooting at the laser turrets and they're also getting the gun. So I think we should just extend our line of defense out to here. And more realistically, I should just be setting up... an artillery outpost as well, rather than doing this. Alright, so this needs to be pretty dense, and then we need to bring the power lines back. So now we have a couple of redundant lines of defense here. So if they keep attacking from that corner, they'll just run into this instead. So that should keep that secure. Now let's craft up another batch of artillery guns, because we are apparently out of those. This is still going. We are still short on low-density structures and portable fission reactors, which I'm pretty surprised about. I thought we had plenty of low-density structure production. Let's see, where is that? It's this. Oh, I see, it's bricked. We are short on plastic. Alright, plastic. What's going wrong with you? You are short on petroleum gas because this got messed up for some reason and is all crude oil. Why is that all crude oil? Okay, so we can clear that out, turn that into petroleum gas, and now plastic is fixed. Cool. Don't know why that happened. But must have been some error with... It must be some error with something getting mixed up somewhere. So this is the input. This is a petroleum gas output, which is outputting petroleum gas. That's a crude oil input. That's some lubricant-related stuff. Apparently we're producing a lot of lubricant these days. I don't know why that is. So down here, we've got 1 million tanks full of petroleum gas there, so that's not going to be an issue. So we had one other petroleum producer over here, and you are also set up correctly. Alright, so I don't know how crude oil got into that, but it must have been some weird fluke from something in the past. So I'm just not going to worry about it, and we're going to move on. So the exoskeletons are... Exoskeletons are short on those because there's this power line there instead. So we need you to exist to feed you with the blue circuits to make exoskeletons. Alright, now you have enough low-density structures, but you're missing processing units, which was probably also interrupted by the whole plastic situation. Where is our processing units? They're down here. They all have fluid ingredient shortage or item ingredient shortage. Why are you set up wrong? How have I not noticed this at all in all this time that this entire road just doesn't work. Or at least the bottom half of this entire road doesn't work, I guess. Alright, you three get connected up. So that's nice. And then we need red circuits, which I believe needed plastic, which explains why that was a problem. Yeah, so those problems are all just downstream of the plastic thing, which should be fixed now. Okay, now these defenses are solid. We're still... Oh, I still have to actually put the artillery gun in a box so that it can be accessed. There, you get 5 of those. And they're going to take 1 down to there. Alright, this is going just fine. It's slowly chipping away at those nests. And meanwhile, the lasers should keep it nice and secure. Yep, that is pretty solid. We almost lost 1 laser, but there's a lot of lasers in here. And even the far ones are like almost in range. Yeah, like when they run all the way up to the walls, all of these are getting active, which is very efficient. So that is getting built and will be fine. Then this, we are just missing 1 portable fission reactor, which is just short on blue circuits, which should be on their way. I mean, it's a whole like line of things that need to happen. Also, wait, I just thought of something. Didn't this whole thing happen because there were biters attacking from this direction? And I just ignored that and didn't think about it for ages. Alright, let's grab a defensive line and just pop that along up here. So the biter attacks that were up here weren't like enormous biter attacks, but it was a thing that happened, which I would rather it not be. So we're going to pull these defenses all the way along until they meet up with that other row of defenses, and there's technically going to be a bit of a gap here, I guess. So let's just place that in. And alright, now we have to let the rest of those laser turrets get placed in by robots. And that should keep the north nice and secure. Okay, now this corner is getting hit, and it's not very well defended. So you get a couple extras. And also bulk up that side. The rest of this looks fine. And this is just the same place that was getting attacked earlier, but from a different direction. Alright, and the biters are attacking before our defenses on that side are fully repaired. Although it looks like we're getting there fast. Yeah. So that buffer chest I placed was definitely a good decision. This would have taken much longer otherwise. So now that's nice and secure, although I guess we might need a forward artillery post over there. Now we're chipping away at those. How far are these ranges? 224 plus 67.2. Alright, I think YouTube might have broken somehow. Or no, it looks fine. I don't know. YouTube is looking weird today. I don't know what's up with it. But hopefully nothing important. Alright. It's a good thing we put those in, because we got an attack from that direction, like, immediately. Alright, let's make sure that this is a proper cornered defense. Alright. Something big is getting hit down here. It's this corner. Okay, so I think what happened there is that the power lines that connected it up are pretty fragile. So we're going to add in a second row of power lines from the other direction, so that as long as either direction of power lines is active, most of them should have power. But yeah, we need more artillery. How many shells do we have in logistics storage? We have like 100. Alright, so I think what we need is... we need this forward buffer chest. Or not requester chest, buffer chest. So we need you to just have as much artillery shells as possible. And how many slots do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 38. So we want you to just have as many artillery shells as possible so that there is less delay between when these guns can fire. Alright, we're being attacked again. This time our power is more resilient, so it shouldn't be as dangerous. Alright, here's the main attack now. And looks like we're handling it. Yeah, we lose a couple laser turrets, but we are able to stop the attack. We just need our artillery to go faster. Like that's the fundamental problem we're having here, is the artillery is triggering attacks, but it isn't wiping out nests fast enough. So we have this passive provider chest, which is filled up with ammo. And we haven't even made this buffer chest yet, much less started delivering ammo to it. So yeah, now our artillery has the range to hit these distant nests. We just need the ammo to deal with it fast enough. Alright. It looks like something broke in our science production, because that doesn't look like a normal graph. Although it looks like it might have been fixed, but let's see. Go over here. And we have no yellow science. Yellow science is still the limiting factor. I would have thought by now purple science would be, since I hadn't quite finished it before we got distracted by all this mayhem. Alright, so this is waiting on blue circuits, much like everything. Let's go down here, and this is... yeah, so this is still just having the problem of not enough red circuits. And the red circuits, I imagine, will still be waiting on plastic. Yes, red circuits still waiting on plastic. Plastic, though, is going. Plastic is going as fast as the little belts can handle it. Not quite as fast as the belts can handle it, but is reasonably close, at least. So it looks like that Spidertron got rebuilt. So let's run on over here. Hop into you. And let's see here. So first we need to remove that, and so that this can get all of that stuff delivered. And then we need to give it a personal roboport. It's going to take a bit of crafting. Also, more attacks down here are being remarkably effective. And they've once again depowered all of that. So we need just redundant power poles, I guess. Because we need these guns to actually be shooting. It's very, very important for the security of this defensive line that the guns actually shoot. Alright, our artillery shell here has plenty of ammo. So we should then having them delivered the rest of the way down to here every so often, and that should be firing. Yes, it's turning now to fire at something. This nest down here. Very good. And then it's turning to provoke a random different nest for no reason. Thank you, artillery. Very cool. Alright. So, we don't have any batteries, which means we can't craft more personal roboports. But we do have... Apparently this is working a little bit. So, do you have fission reactors? Yes, you do. I'm going to grab that and toss that into there. Then you are going to get a personal roboport, although we're going to want to upgrade it as soon as possible. Then you are going to get a couple of laser defenses and a belt immunity equipment. But most importantly, we need the exoskeleton legs. So let's grab those. And I think we did like 3 of these. Yeah, I think we did 3 of them. And then there was some other stuff, which is mostly for combat. Like we had a shield. Can we just easily craft one of those? We can, although it'll take a while. Alright. We have this set back up again, and we can now move around at good-fashioned triple exoskeleton speed. Now, I'm not even sure how much I'm going to be moving, because we need to do all this. Now, you want to be delivered 8 shells. You have like 1 million shells. Why are you not grabbing them from here instead of wherever you're grabbing them from? I guess it's fine. It's getting the shells eventually. Alright, so that is nice and secure. This is chipping away at these guys who are potential threats. And I think we are probably approaching the point where the range on these is high enough. I mean, none of these are in pollution cloud, so theoretically they are probably far enough that they won't just decide to attack me randomly. And then we're maybe doing similar things up here. Like, I haven't seen attacks from this side in a while, although there are some biters within the cloud. Alright, what are all these guys doing over here? They are filling a chest with buffer resources. Sure, they can do that if they want. They can fill random boxes to their heart's content. Okay, plastic. How's plastic going? Still going, still filling all of this stuff up. It's a bit concerning that I don't know where the source of the shortage is. Like, the crude oil thing, I don't know how that happened, which means I don't know if it was a fluke one-off occurrence or something that's going to happen again. But hopefully it's just a fluke one-off occurrence, and if it does happen again, then we're going to have an issue, but hopefully it won't. Alright, so now this is going, and it, like basically everything else on the planet, is just waiting on the whole circuit production line to go through. Which is all waiting on plastic. So I could make the plastic a little bit faster using the beacons. And since we have basically an infinite supply of everything going into it, I think I might do that. So first, we are going to need to upgrade planner all of this stuff. Next, we are going to need to... Actually, we're going to need to get some beacons in a chest. I have like a million chests around. I can just throw them in this one. Alright, I have 6 beacons in my inventory. Let's throw them in there and then craft some new ones. Alright, so now we have access to a couple of beacons. We can go in here and... Okay, we're going to have to be a bit precise on this. So the output are up here. So we need to take those out. And let's just do those 6. So we have to take those outputs off so that it doesn't just unload the modules we give it. And then we replace these with the beacons. Like so. What are all those? Item on ground inserters. How did those get there? Who knows? But apparently they're coming to pick them up, so I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, so now we just have to wait for all of the beacons to get placed in, which might be a bit of a journey from where I'm standing. Alright, they're getting the previous machines out, and then we just need to queue up speed modules and all of those. And then, after a bit of a delay during this production phase, our plastic should go crazy. So once these beacons and the speed modules get in, it'll be super fast. And we have these ones out of range over here to compare to. So we'll be able to see how fast it's going. Alright. There go the beacons. And then it's just a matter of waiting for the speed modules for the actual acceleration to happen. And these chemical plants can only take 3 modules themselves, so that's fine. I was a bit concerned why there are only 3, but that's because different things can take different numbers of modules. Alright, speed modules should be on their way any second now, you'd think. It's not that far of a journey, is it? It's from literally there up to here. Although it could be grabbing them from anywhere, and I wouldn't know. Alright, more attacks, but that one was apparently a minor one. Alright, yeah, it looks like while I wasn't paying attention, it did get through, and now this is basically saturated. So we have now all the plastic output we could ever want. And are these set? These are set to wait to only to full. Let's add a 2-minute condition just to get them rolling a little bit faster. So we have a lot of different places that need a lot of plastic. And that's going to be more important than having totally full of everything. So now we have another train coming here to load up. And that should be set up. Okay, losing turrets again. Actually, where were you? Up here. Okay, yeah, this little thing up here. At least give it some walls or something, so it can be somewhat secure against biters. Obviously, this doesn't really help against the spitters, but against the biters, which seem like they were involved, it's helpful. Alright, so that's all set up. This is still doing whatever it's doing, taking a million drones to bring circuits over. And yeah, it's pretty quiet now. It's pretty quiet. This gun seems to have gotten rid of everything in its range. And this one might still be working on it. Yeah, so this one is still shooting away. But we should be basically in the clear from those massive biter swarms. So what happened with all of that was, I guess I should have thought of this, is that when all of the ranges of all of my artilleries increased at once, they all started firing and triggering biter retaliations simultaneously, which caused a bit of chaos, to say the least. Alright, that one was just some forward settling biters. Like they were trying to do something there, and we stopped them. So these outposts remain secure enough. They're not invincible. We do lose lasers, but there are just so many here that I don't think we've ever actually lost an outpost, or even lost more than a couple lasers in one. Whereas these systems, which are much more dispersed, tend to take heavier casualties. But yeah, this has been quiet for a while, it looks like. So that's nice. We're going to have more of that happening when we increase our artillery range again. But hopefully at that point we'll mostly be provoking onto the specific outposts and not onto stuff like this. Although it looks like this one in particular might still have that problem. So let's fix that. Let's build an artillery outpost. So the way we do that is we take drone coverage, we extend it out past that. Then we take power and we extend it out over to there, let's say. Then we just need to wait for that drone port to get built, which there it is. And then we can see where the next drone port can extend to. And somewhere in that area we will then build our artillery base. Alright, power lines go in, and now that's secure. Artillery outpost can then go somewhere like here. This isn't a super far forward outpost like some of them have been, but should be far forward enough. This looks like about as far as it'll go. Pop it down there. And it looks like the front half isn't in range, so we're going to have to worry about that. But it should be fine. Also, all of these power lines need to actually get built at some point. Do we even have a buffer chest over here? We do, but only for these couple of things. Which is probably fine to just have like a dedicated buffer chest like that. I might want to add walls and... Let's see, so we're going to add walls onto that buffer chest. And we are going to add some artillery shells onto it just to get those moving along as well. And then I think really the problem is that there aren't drones waiting here. Oh, wait. Almost a catastrophe, and it might still end up being a catastrophe. This roboport isn't properly powered, which means someone needs to put that power line in. Also, that doesn't need to exist, nor does that. We just need this power line to get the entire thing set up. Yeah, so now we have the problem that they're running forwards to put in laser turrets, which might draw attacks, but the laser turrets aren't powered, so they can't defend themselves from those attacks. So we need someone to get that power line in. Alright, it looks like the drone is coming up. Oh, this is a requester chest. That's the problem. You need to be a buffer chest. You're the wrong type. Buffer, buffer, buffer. There we go. So that will fix that if it gets here soon enough. And we are also being attacked elsewhere. Down here where it's supposed to be. Looks like they got a shot in on the radar, which is fine. They're perfectly free to attack that if they want. Alright, so that did get powered on, and so now we're waiting for the rest of this to get built, including the power lines for those forward rows of lasers, which is the most important thing at the moment. Because once we get those lasers powered up, it should be relatively secure in here, even without the walls. At least with the lasers present, it'll do something. Alright, they chose the wrong power pole to load in. Come on, one more power pole, and now this defenses are basically good. Okay, meanwhile down here this did get made a buffer chest. So we should be pretty stacked for resources here. We're just having to wait for the weird stuff, which there's no real reason to buffer. Okay, then we're getting attacked here. I'm surprised that that isn't covering any of this. This turret seems to have expanded out its maximum range, but we're still being attacked over here. So let's get that fixed. So we need, first of all, we need drone coverage over here, which might not even be able to repair those things without that. And I can't see anything, so let's get a radar in as well. And I'm very close, actually. This is right next to me, so I'll head over there and see about getting this done manually. Alright, so that corner wall never even got built. Now we have a radar in the area, so we should be able to see a bit further. And we can then wait for this drone port to get placed in. Alright, cool. So that drone port is in. Now we can go out over this way. Get that drone port in. Bring power back. And that drone port is now powered on. We're going to go another full drone port out, I think, just to get as much range as possible, because there is a lot of pollution up here. So I want to get distanced from that. Alright. So that power line has decided to be annoying. We're going to have to just manually place that to save some time. Plop. And, alright, now, do I build the... Yeah, I think if we build this artillery outpost just way out here, it should keep us basically safe from attacks for quite a while. So let's get all of that built, and then ideally get the power lines built as well, which we did. Alright, now once the gun goes in, we will have coverage over this whole area and should be safe. I mean, with these, need laser turrets. Just like a stack of those. You need walls. Just a stack of those. You need medium electrical poles. A stack of those. You want repair kits. A stack of those. And then you want a comedically large amount of artillery shells, by which I mean 10. Alright, our laser turret supply is apparently no good. Are they still being produced at least? No, we are short on steel plates for them. So they're all in buffer chests in various places and not going to get delivered up to there. Alright, steel plates, what is wrong with you? Why are you like this? It's just the same problem we've been having with steel plates forever, except now this requester chest isn't working. So what's wrong with our steel production up here then, which should be filling those requester chests? Where even is it? It's in this spot. No iron plates. Of course there are no iron plates. Everything uses them. Everything is short. Actually, I see we have a traffic jam. That makes sense. Alright, let's head over and try to fix that traffic jam. Oh, apparently there are a bunch of drones want me for some reason. Although I guess I should probably just fix the traffic jam urgently. Because we do need like a semi-constant supply of... Where even is this? It's down here. We need a pretty solid supply of resources if the biters are going to keep attacking. Because if we are out of laser turrets, then that is a significant issue. Alright, so this looks like the cause of the problem. You were never set to a train limit of 1. And you are stuck because of the traffic jam that you caused, basically. Alright, you got into the intersection, probably because there's a thing here. Who here is even capable of leaving? This is a nightmare. Alright, we need to get out of this Spidertron. Take you... Bring you to manual mode. And don't go forwards. We need you to turn to your left. Alright, so that's one train out of the way. So you can just go back around and do whatever it is you need to do. Did that solve the problem? No, that was one of the ones at the edges of the jam. Alright, here's a train which can get out of the way and solve all of our problems. You, manual mode, just go forwards. You just go forwards. And that should be far enough. Now you get set to automatic mode and... Okay, well, you instantly got stuck in the jam 5 feet down the line. Alright, how do we solve that? So, alright, it looks like we did solve it. The trains are getting out of that intersection, which hopefully will trickle through to allowing this. And then we need you to not exist to prevent that. Here is one of these problems, which I swear I've fixed 500,000 times. But there. Let's get those power lines back in. I don't think they're important, but you never know. Alright, trains are moving again. So that is good. Now I just need to find my Spidertron. Where did I leave that thing? I think I left it over here. Yep. Alright, so hopefully that solves our problem, and now that stuff is moving around, we can get things into all of these bits and pieces. Like you. You don't have a train on the way. All of our trains are waiting at inputs, except for one which is waiting at an output. I think we need more iron plate trains. Because we have more than one... We have more than one iron plate output that we can be using. So congratulations, new train. You have been drafted into the iron plate army. Off you go. Okay, yeah, just took you a little while. And I feel like we might need more than one extra. Let's add in another extra, just to make absolutely certain that we have enough. There you go. Off you go. Right, obviously you need fuel. And the previous guy just drained all of that. So you get some fuel. And hopefully that will solve that problem. And alright, we're seem to be cooking again. Plastic has saturated entirely. There is a train on its way here, and then there are a bunch of trains waiting at inputs. So that's good. Hopefully it means that our red circuits are going now. Yes, red circuits are now producing. And I think what I need to do next time is automate some beacons and use them to get the whole, what's it called? Use it to get some of those slower production lines, like the circuits, going faster. Because that is something which I can do which won't impact efficiency, but will dramatically increase speed, which will be quite nice to have. Alright, but I think for now at least, did this ever get set up properly? Yes, and it is drawing aggro like crazy, as you might expect. We've got our buffer chest down here, which has its ammo, and that is working properly. So I think we should be good to go. I think this is a good time to wrap up. We have... Oh, wait, no. What's going on down here? Did you not get set? Yeah, okay, so you need to be set to have a train limit of 1. And then you need to move on to get out of the way so that that guy can go in. Alright. Another crisis averted before it got too bad, thankfully. No, stop it. I set that to be a train limit of 1, I guess just because they were already all lined up. And you have the test interrupt too, so this won't be a problem in the future. There. Steel has been sorted past. We have one train on its way to the output. We have one train at an output, another train at an output, and another train at an output. So we should be fine now. We should have enough iron trains to keep up with everything. So I think we've fixed all the urgent crises that we were dealing with today. The factory is working again, and the borders are secure again. Looks like these guys haven't been out attacking in a while, which is nice. So I think we're going to wrap up. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a lot of fun today. I will be back in Satisfactory tomorrow and doing Factorio on Tuesday. So if you're interested, make sure to stop by then. Hopefully we will be able to stop with the distractions and finish up our last little bit of science, and then we can expand to the point that I want to expand to, and then call it a day and see what Space Age has. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Make sure to follow if you haven't already. I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, so make sure to stop by then if you're interested in, and I will see you guys